Hi, everyone, and welcome to our monthly podcast with regular returning brother, friend, and guest, Mr. Big Joe Williams, who's graciously joining us from his humble abode to give us all the latest geopolitical updates that he does. And I'll try to back him up with a little bit of good stuff on the financials so that we balance it out. Always look forward to talking to my buddy and brother. We talk every day, and it's always a good time had. And he always has great decode information. And he is one of the integral parts of the team I always talk about that for those of you who have been long time subscribers. If you're new to the podcast, please do like, subscribe, share. It helps the channel grow and others to gain the knowledge currently being afforded. As you know, Big Joe is a retired Houston police officer and retired military, served the country well, served the area well, and now he's serving in the truth of community for many, many years. We've been friends for a while and connected with his friend Amina, who's really a beast when it comes to getting, particularly the geopolitical and the arrest side. She's kind of a savant at that. So they always share information back and forth, and I'm always glad to have him back on once again. Mr. Joe Williams, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Appreciate that intro, man. Amina's more passionate about the children's side of it, what's happening
Yeah.
to these kids. But I hadn't spoken to her in a few days. She probably changed her number or something. I don't know, because she rotates her number like socks. But
We'll send
other
her
than that,
send her our
well,
regards. We always hold her
yeah, I
in
will. I sent
high
her I
esteem.
sent her a text yesterday because I hadn't heard from her. And so I'll try calling her again today. I hadn't heard anything from her, but it's been somewhat quiet, and which is good because I hadn't really been connected as much as I am. Because I remember I told you I had to clear my storage, so I'm going through each individual box, throwing away a lot of stuff, donating a lot of stuff, and I still hadn't have yet to pull my car into the garage, so I still have several boxes to go through.
Mm.
But um, other than that, yeah, that's it, man. I hadn't really seen anything earth shattering.
Well, I'll just turn it over to you like I customarily do, any of the geopolitical decodes you have, and then I'll just back you up on the financial. We'll just take it from there. So,
Well, this is one thing right here that I came across that I really wanted to talk to people about, and I want people to do their own research on it. Are you able to see that?
yes, sir, I am.
Okay, I don't see it on my screen.
Seeing the whiplash.
Normally, it would pop up on my screen as well, but you can see
I
it,
can see
right?
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, as long as you can see it, that's good. All right. This right here from Whiplash. Now, I've seen this before, and I've been sharing this. Before I left this morning, I was sharing it with as many people as I could because I know several people that's dealing with that C word. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to flag the channel. Because lately they've been flagging a lot of people's channel keywords and stuff. So I'm just trying to be a little more careful and
Sure.
saying this. But I want people to, if they can, let me see if I can. Can I get bigger on this screen? Yeah. If you can, take a screenshot of this and then do your own research. Please do your own research. We're not doctors. We're not financial consultants. We're not financial advisors.
Mhm.
But we're
Mhm.
just giving you, information that we come across, and we want to share it because we don't look for any type of a pat on the back for what we do because we're both here through the Spirit and between the Spirit of God, Jesus Christ. That's who we serve. So we want to pass as much information on as we can because I was telling my mom the other day, these people in this world, they want to kill us. They want us here for a little while, make a couple of coins off of us, and then we die. And they can still make money on you because of the trust stuff. So, but other than that, let me go get a page there.
Well, they
This
have their plans, Joe, but God has a workaround. Proverbs sixteen
Oh
twenty
yeah.
five.
Oh
He
yeah.
gets the final
Well,
say.
the bad part about it is part of their plan goes through, and not saying that God is ignoring it and something like that, but it's just when you're in a fight, normally when you step into a boxing ring, you got to be prepared to take a punch. That's basically it, and we're taking punches. We're taking punches, and God is he's punching as well, and this is what he has to do with because when he cast Satan out of heaven, you know, he took a couple of blows. It's like, spiritual blows or mental blows, emotional blows. It's like, hold up, you're my favorite angel, and you're doing this. And he said, okay, and bam, cast him out of heaven. But we have to go through some things like this, because if we didn't, we wouldn't know that we need God. If you understand what I mean by this, it's some situation. But I came across this today. This is if people know him, this is John Solomon with Just the News. So I'm only going to play a couple of minutes of it because it's fairly long. So check this out.
Now, we'll have a scoop for you tonight. We've got another bombshell story to start the show off with. President Donald Trump and his supporters were targeted by 4 consecutive FBI codename counterintelligence investigations over the last decade. Now, I want that to sink in. From the moment President Trump secured the nomination in the summer of 2016 to the moment he raised his hand for his second inauguration in January 2025, he was subjected to 4 straight consecutive counterintelligence probes, each of them designed to try to find some form of criminality against him. Each of them, or in total, they subjected hundreds of innocent Americans to privacy-invading tactics, things like their phone records being taken, grand jury subpoenas, extraordinary developments and intrusions on their everyday life. And the FBI, before Kash Patel came in, essentially treated the man twice elected president as a national security threat. That's what a counterintelligence investigation is. That means for almost the first 9 years of his career, the FBI only saw Donald Trump as a potential threat to national security. Those are according to documents and interviews we conducted here at Just the News over the last 6 months. Director Patel has personally led the effort to find these 4 operations. Here are the 4 code names. Crossfire Hurricane, you know that one well. That's about Russian collusion, now debunked. Round River, one you probably never heard of until today. That's the one that looked at people who dared to look at Hunter Biden and treated them as though they were a national security threat. Russian disinformation artists. I have a funny feeling I'll be in those files. Plasmic Echo, that's the one that took Kash Patel's and Susie Wiles' phone records before they became FBI director and White House chief of staff. There's also an allegation that the FBI in that investigation might have looked at or listened in on one of Susie Wiles' conversations with her lawyer. And then the last one that we've talked a lot about on the show the last few months since we first broke it, Arctic Frost, an investigation that looked at the president and his supporters' effort.
Okay, I just want to go to the names, the last one being Arctic Frost. And these people are ruthless, man. These people are ruthless. Mm-hmm. They've been spying on Trump since day one, and that leads to this. Let me bring this over.
The director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, releasing a bombshell report today that shows a conspiracy by a sitting president, Barack Obama, and his intel agencies to sabotage the president-elect, Donald Trump, brainwash the electorate, and undermine the legitimacy of an election.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't.
Gabbard got her hands on a House intel report that's been locked away in a CIA vault for almost a decade. Investigators spent over 2,000 hours looking into how the Russia hoax was born, interviewing 20 CIA and FBI officials. And it turns out that the Obama administration doctored the intelligence to make it look like Putin and Trump stole the election. A month after Trump beat Hillary, Barack Obama wasn't satisfied with his intelligence reporting and ordered his CIA director to create a new assessment of how Russia interfered with the election. This was a highly unusual move. John Brennan handpicked 5 CIA analysts to write the assessment, and they were siloed. None of them knew what the other was doing. And only one analyst was in charge of drafting this report. There was nothing routine about this, and it was a rush job to publish before Trump was sworn in. Nothing was coordinated with the other intelligence agencies either. Basically, this was home cooking for Barack Obama.
Okay, that's where I wanted to stop at on that one. But yeah, that this is an old video, but it actually goes with what John Solomon found in his and actually that was I think that was found with Harmeet Dillon. She actually helped with that part of it as well. But other than that, man, I have a funny clip.
Yeah, go for it.
Hold on, let me get back on there. Man, they eliminated a step. I'm looking at the Zoom and a step was eliminated. Check this out. Bush tries to push her. I mean, Clinton. Look, he tried to push her into traffic. Look, and she gets away from him, even though they're the fake one.
Wouldn't be the first one to try that idea.
Yeah, he tried to push her into traffic.
Yeah, again, he wouldn't be the first person. That's totally not him, Joel. You see him shaking his hand the other day. That's so not him.
Yeah, neither one of them. That's not even Hillary. That's not her. Well, that's a fake one, but that's not
Hillary. Hillary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Joe, he's probably like, oh, I've been trying to push her into traffic for many years. I almost got her. It's like Frogger.
Well, in this war, this is one thing right here. I was going to look up some more information on this, but I didn't get a chance to. But this is one of the weapons that's being used that's over in Iran. They're using laser weapons now. This is, hey, Star Trek, look out. So it's short, but hey, I said, I was caught up today, and I was caught up today trying to find some things, track down.
Oh, that's cool. So let me ask you the question, Joe, on the geopolitical side that I think is in the hearts and minds of most. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to show you. I had to track this down. This is copper, and we recommend that. Hey, you precious metals. If you can't get any precious metals, copper is very, very, very affordable. Yeah, so if you can get a hold of some copper, get some.
Yep.
But go ahead, man.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. No, just thank you for showing that. I think the question that's in the hearts and minds of a lot of people is the big one, the justice side, the one that you focus on a lot, the arrests. You kind of alluded to it with Barry earlier in the video. I know you don't have a crystal ball, but based on what you know, based on what Q has shown, based on all of your brilliant research and decoding you've done that I've known you over the years, when do you think people could expect a reasonable time frame to start seeing some major arrests come
out? Leading into the midterm election. And I believe because they just put out she's been recommended to the Justice Department. What is her name? The chick that said that Trump lunged up and took the driver into a neck hole, and Hutchinson. Yeah, they just recommended her. Yeah, they just recommended her for charges. So I believe a few of these people, they're going to turn. They're going to flip. Now, and it won't happen until, I want to say, going by the way, because, justice moves slow, but, you still have the elections in November for the midterms. So you're looking at probably 4 months prior to that. Probably 3 months prior to that, you're going to start seeing handcuffs.
So July.
Right. You're going to pretty much after the 4th, and I can see it happening after that, because I think they're probably going to use the 4th as a day of reveals, some type of, a big reveal type moment. and that transition is going to happen because we would know 250 years. And remember, he re-signed the Constitution. So a lot of things is going to be revealed that day. And it's going to be fun to see that because it's moving pretty fast now. But if you notice, everything that's happening now is more of admitting stuff into evidence. Now, remember, the Q drop said, how do you admit stuff into evidence? Well, admit stuff into evidence, through other crimes, stuff like that. Because if they had all of this evidence and Trump was going against them, it would never get admitted in as evidence. Even if you do like what's the word I'm looking for? I can't right, my mind blank is blank.
No,
But
you're good.
It's just one of those things where evidence has to be admitted into the system, and the only way to do it is through other trials, other hearings, and stuff that's been admitted. And all the evidence of this election fraud is happening right now. Now, you knew about the in Arizona, they just submitted and got all of their voter documents a couple of days ago, and that's going, but under the radar. People don't even know that went on because Maricopa County is one of the biggest counties in the United States, and then at that, during their last elections, they actually had people there reviewing the elections and saw all of the problems that was going on. This just was just revealed. I want to say yesterday, day before yesterday, or yesterday, and how all of the problems and mishaps, or I don't know what word the Democrats want to use at this time, but every discrepancies that's going on there in Arizona. And I believe Arizona is going to be the first county, or in Arizona, the Maricopa County, of course, but in Arizona is going to be the first to reveal the election fraud. And this is why I say that that's going to happen. Remember when Trump said, whenever the robber steals the diamonds, he has to give the diamonds back.
Yep.
I think we referred to this before, remember? And when you give the diamonds back, you basically returning what's owed. But also, I believe that term the diamonds back is implying or referring to Arizona. What is the baseball team there in Arizona?
Diamondbacks.
Arizona Diamondback. Right. So I believe Arizona is probably going to be the first to reveal the election fraud, and everything that's how they did it is already out there in the system. It's already out there, but the media is not going to cover it. The media is not going to show it. Not going to show the evidence. None of that stuff is going to happen because I believe the White House, the good guys, own everything, but it's all timing. It's all timing, and when as we get closer to the midterms, a lot of that stuff is going to get revealed.
Yeah. Okay. So that sounds a lot like fourth Nasara kicking in because that's 4 months before the midterms,
Right.
right? There's your timing. Right. Two other questions for you on the geopolitical side. I'm still hearing that ICE agents / National Guard are going to be at all the polling stations. Is that your understanding?
Well, they should. And here, and look, and the Democrats are showing their hand because they're asking, "Hey, are there going to be ICE agents at the voter, out at the poll locations or the vote locations?" Why would you ask that question? I mean, why would you ask that question if you're not going to cheat? If you're not going to send illegals there to vote? Why would you even ask that question? And according to a video of Chuck Schumer, he's okay with that, but they want Trump to remove the United States citizen verification part of the thing. So he's okay with it, but you just have to remove that little part there. And it's like, no. You're telling us your hand. You're showing us your hand. You basically want, unvetted person to go in and vote. And you don't want ICE there to protect the Constitution, the stuff that I know I fought for, and the stuff that we all get up every day to defend. Your shows, you talk about it all the time. This is your way of fighting a war. You do it every day in your shows, right? And me, yeah, I do it with the shows here, but at the same time, for 4 years and two tours, I fought, on behalf of this for a country that people say, oh, the country don't like you, this, and that. I'm sorry, but yeah, that slavery stuff happened before in the past, but it's not happening now. And
Right.
I have the ability to walk out my door, go to a store, use the restroom that's right there in the front, drink from a water fountain. I can vote. I got a job. I'm retired. I mean, I'm investing. I bought,
Right.
copper.
Mhm.
And so much stuff going on. And for them to say, oh, this is Jim Crow 2.0.
That's what I was
No.
going to say. Yeah.
No.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It just key turns, the narrative, whatever the narrative is, that's what they're
Yeah.
using.
Fear porn and gaslighting, in other words.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you for that. What about Pam Bondi, friend or foe? She thinks she being used?
I believe she's being used by the White Hats. Now I believe, and you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna bring this up to you. I believe they're gonna swap her out. And I think that
Probably right.
I believe certain people have been put in place to take slings and arrows, right? To force the deep state into showing their hand. And when they attack everybody here, you won't be able to attack everybody here. Like, say, for instance, Mark Wayne Mullins. He's going to be over DHS, uh, uh, Department of, yeah, DSH. Is it DSH? He's taking
Oh,
he's
DHS,
taken
you
over
mean?
that position. Yes, DHS. He's
Uh-huh.
taken over that position. And see, they abused what's her name, but she, Christian, she kind of helped that situation out a little bit
Chrissy
with
Nome,
her
yeah.
infidelities. Yeah, but at the same time, she did do a decent job there. The borders closed. They're getting out these illegals. She did what she was supposed to do. Now, what would happen when you switch and put a different person there? They won't have enough time to dig up enough dirt to try to get him out of there. They can't do anything but vote for him. It's like, okay, well, we don't know anything about him, so we might as well vote for him. Because if you go in and when he goes through his confirmation, more than likely the Democrats are not going to vote for him. Why? Because we just don't like him. That's basically it. We don't like Trump. Now, had there been anybody else to recommend him, they probably would have voted for him. But because of the fact that, Trump derangement syndrome is real, they won't vote for him.
Yeah, yeah. And then I'm thinking about, thank you. I'm thinking about Thomas Massey. There's this back and forth with Trump with him. I'm trying to figure out if he's being used for good or if he's bad.
Well, Trump just put a truth out about Massey, and basically saying that he's garbage. He said,
Mm.
uh, yeah, he basically said that Massey is garbage. Let me see if I can pull that up. But go ahead and
Well, the reason I asked that is because in the beginning, well, when I say the beginning, earlier on in the year, Massey was talking a lot about, hey, and the Fed and the corruption. So it's like there's these moves and counter moves, and it sometimes can get, with all the disinformation out there, it gets murky, and it gets difficult to tell until the end of the movie, who's on whose side, basically, right?
right
I just want to get your take on that.
now repeat it one more time.
I just wanted to get your take on Massey. Is he being used for good or
Oh,
for bad? Because he was really filibustering inside the Senate, some of the voting.
yeah, he's another one that's not actually for the people. And can you see that?
Yeah, I do.
All right, yeah. And he just put this out today. The Republican Party's worst congressman ever, Thomas Massey, is attacking the great Navy SEAL hero. Now, this guy here, Ed Gilrain, he's actually running against Massey. So Trump is going to support him. Gilrain is his name. And he's going to run against him. But yeah, he had, it's funny that you asked that question because he just dropped this today. And pretty much telling everyone, that Massey is basically a rhino with a capital R.
Mm, perfect. Oh, did you see, Joe, since you're talking about Trump, did you see, excuse me, as a nice segue to the finances, I think it was yesterday, he put on his truth, and I'm not sure if he put on an X, you'd have to tell me you're on there, but apparently he's been dropping Kim Clement, and now he's being
Yes,
Trump
yes,
is a
yeah, I
trumpet.
saw that. Yeah,
So you
yeah, I
saw
saw
that,
that.
right?
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I completely forgot about that, but yeah, I saw that one.
So that
And
that means he
it's
knows the
the
prophetic
truth,
word. And, huh?
right?
Sorry, go
Well,
ahead. You were saying.
I have uh this camera of mine is actually going crazy. Hold on.
It likes you.
It has, yeah, it has a mind of its own.
Yeah, they tend to do that.
uh, yeah, I think it was something, a hand gesture. That's what it operates on. So I don't know how it, I
Yeah,
hadn't
yeah,
learned the hand gestures, but
it's fine.
other than that, yeah. Did I close? Yeah, I
You
tried to
closed it
close it.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. I have my theory about Kim Clement and all of that.
You do. Why don't you
Um,
talk about that? I'm curious.
I believe, and they say he's a prophet and all of that, which I agree. I agree with the method and how he was being used. But I believe I'm more inclined to believe that he put the plan out. That's what his job was, because this plan has been getting hashed out since Ken, Kennedy Jr. died in that plane crash, and that's when they actually pushed the pedal to the metal once that happened, because they saw that they were about to lose the country. Now, one big giant piece of evidence, I'm sorry, was the Jimmy Carter administration. Now, please tell me that you saw that the Biden administration and the Jimmy Carter administration mirrored each other.
Mm,
And same thing, gas, everything, foreign policy, everything that
yeah.
Biden did was done during the Carter administration. But here's the problem: they didn't have enough people bought at that time to approve certain things, so it was almost like it was a trial run, and they knew what they had to do. That's when they start buying or paying and financing these lower level politicians, because if you can get them young, when they get old, they've already committed their soul. Let's put it that way. If you can get them going in as just a regular local councilman and push them to run for higher office as they get up top, they got to pay back the piper. That's what they started doing, and I believe that was a trial run. But back to Clement, I believe that yes, I believe he was a prophet, you know, being used. He was a spiritual guy, a godly man, and I thank God for him. I just kind of think that was the plan, to put more information out. But hey, I could be crazy and I could be 100% wrong. So,
Well,
but
I mean,
I believe that they wanted to tell the world what they were going to do to the people that were paying attention, like we did, especially when during the Q drops.
mhm.
We knew that we knew what the plan was. We just had to trust the plan. Is what the Q drops say. Trust the plan. We have to trust that everything's done, and I really think that everything is being done. And right now, we are so far ahead of the plan that things are being stretched right now. Some stuff it really doesn't make sense on how some of the stuff is being stretched out. Like, say for instance, let me ask you a question. What did you hear about Savannah Guthrie's mother? Is she still lost? Did they find her? Is the narrative no longer takes now because they have something bigger in the Iraqi war? I mean, let the mainstream media talk about it. She was number one priority, but now
Mhm.
it disappeared. What happened to her? I mean, I heard rumors that they found her no longer here, but I'm trying to get an understanding of what happened. You don't need her anymore. Which of course
No,
Savannah is actually in the Q drops. Savannah Guthrie is in the Q drops, and I think I showed you pictures of her in the boot, walking boot. So yeah, she's
interesting.
suspect as well. So
Put an asterisk, as you always say.
yeah, you got to put a giant asterisk beside that one.
Well, as far as Kim Clement goes, you wouldn't be alone in your assertion of that. I definitely know he was not a Mossad agent or anything like that. I don't know if he's being used
Right.
by the Patriots to get out the message. But what I do know for sure is that he was and remains the most accurate prophet we've had in the modern age, certainly in the last 20 plus years. And everything that he said is come to pass and is still coming to pass as we speak. We're coming into
Right.
the grave mistake by Israel Israel used for last, the why now moment. The Trump would be a trumpet, that there would be a grave
Right.
surrender. That's all, coming to a head. I'll just show you a couple of quick things to support what you're talking about here.
Mhm.
Let me know when you can see this here.
Yeah, I can see it.
This is from Ren Evans on X. To understand how useless GDP is, uh, for using financialization to judge gross domestic product, basically how invalid that is what they're saying in general. Vietnam's GDP surpassed Thailand's last year, yeah, by at least a third, probably 50%. It's better than China too. Vietnam's industrial capacity is close to double that of Thailand. That's a lot of the corporations that were in China, as we've talked about many times, have migrated over to Vietnam many years ago because they have a killer workforce. Their economy is not the problem. It's communism, and we're seeing regime change right now predominating the world. So Vietnam's clearly going to be next. I don't have the ability to zoom in on this. I wish I did, but you people can take a screenshot of it and you can see right here. You can see right there, Vietnam, 1.94 thousand. Back in 2016, as he says here, per capita, Vietnam also beat Thailand in 2020 with no nuclear program. Since 2010, Vietnam has had a 34% GDP over most of the countries in the world. So they're just kicking butt. They've got, Brent crude. They've got,
why, right?
Go ahead.
No, so you know why, right?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Tell us.
Because a lot of these companies, a lot of these millionaires, billionaires, companies, they also have accounts there in Vietnam. Why? Because they undervalue their currency. Just
Right.
imagine if their currency was at its true value.
Mhm.
It would, even though they're winning like where the numbers are right now, as much as they're making. Just imagine if the currency was at the right rate, at the rate it's supposed to be.
Correct.
Vietnam will probably be the richest country in the world right now.
Well, it's poised
But
to be one of them, and it's backed by silver and
yeah,
Litecoin too, by the way.
right, exactly. So you have all of these people that are actually have opening bank accounts, because I was reading they were opening bank accounts there in Vietnam. So a lot of people actually have bank accounts in Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
and they're keeping their money there because of the undervalued currency. They're able to, uh, uh, man, they're stacking some serious paper in
Oh yeah.
Vietnam. To be
Oh
honest with
yeah.
you.
No, they're poised to, and again, Joe, as we talked about both off and online, uh, gold and silver running parallel with each other, right? As the revaluation of gold and silver happens, what does that do for the Iraq dinar and Vietnamese dong, which are backed by both, and many other currencies for that matter?
Right. It's going to quadruple their accounts.
At
So, but
least.
we can thank Executive Order 13848 as well as the OFAC list on this one, because
Mm-hmm.
these people won't be able to benefit from that blessing that's about to hit us. That's
I'm
why
glad you
we
mentioned
we keep telling people to get the copper, the coins, copper,
yeah,
silver, gold, platinum,
gold. Yep.
palladium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Glad you brought up the OFAC list. I didn't have a chance to pull it up, but there were a lot of Iraqi officials in there with corruption and money laundering. Many names, Mohammed and Ali, Al Saeed, and many other names that CNN has started to admit. Now the fake news is telling the truth. So there's a lot of Iraqi names that came on the OFAC list, again, for pedophilia, money laundering, trafficking, misappropriation of funds. A lot of the oil is being cut off of Iraq now, and soon, what's coming next is all the dinars will be cut off. That should bring in the
Yes.
citizens in the streets, queued up the band while we've got the
Mhm.
Iranian quote unquote conflict, which is regime change ultimately being wrapped up next week. We've got the end of Ramadan on the 19th and Eid al-Fitr, which is the 20th, which is just kind of an extenuation. And funny enough, Iraq and Iran, I was talking about this morning with Nick Van Yaman on his show. Iraq and Iran both have their budgets queued up and their finances for the 21st. And who's going to who's going to Israel on the 23rd, Joe?
The 23rd.
Uh-huh.
Should we Trump? Trump's going there.
Nope, Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio is. And
Yep.
oh man, I came across a nice little article that talks about Scott Bissett and how he's basically a financial hitman.
Yeah,
he,
and Judy
yeah, he
and
is
Judy Schultz is
that
not
dude
far
there.
behind him in the queue. You
Yes,
know that.
yes, that dude there, man. I'm gonna
Yeah.
send you the little article that I came across and how
Okay.
Scott Bissett is the real deal. He pretty much sent Europe almost in financial ruins several years
Oh
ago.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Japan's markets in a free fall bloodbath. Here's
yeah,
another
yeah.
Vietnam that supports what you're saying, Joe. On X, Vietnam should leverage silver economy to address aging population. Well, that's the front they can use to really tell the world how much silver they've always had because they're very clandestine over there. Reset Intelligence asked this question. This is a good one for you, Joe. Fixed versus float doesn't prevent coordination. We've talked about this burning question that people want to know for a while. It changes what's being coordinated. Iraq pegging to a fixed rate and Vietnam floating are not contradictory mechanisms. They're different entry points into the same realignment window. Iraq's CBI, Central Bank of Iraq, sets a new program rate. It's a policy decision, not a market discovery process. Vietnam floats with a managed band. The SVB adjusts the reference rate. Both central banks can move at the same time without needing identical mechanisms. The double dip, that's the ability to buy up again, go back into the pool, if you will. Framing assumes that the thesis is about retail speculation. It's not. Thesis is about capital repositioning at the institutional banking level, sovereign wealth, commodity backflows, energy corridor realignment. That capital doesn't run on a float. It positions ahead of a structural shift, regardless of the mechanism each country uses. However, the coordination point is real. The question isn't whether the mechanisms match, it's whether the timing window is synchronized. And it is because, as indicated already, March 21st is Iran. Iraq's fiscal year starts the same date. What a coincidence after Eid, we just talked about, right?
Yeah.
Vietnam, again, gold and silver running parallel, dinar and dong running parallel. Vietnam's SVB has been intervening heavily for months. This is not random. Of course, it's not. These guys coordinate clandestine behind the scenes. Whether they all move in the same window is the actual question. I think he's referring to all the other currencies. Personally, our opinion is that dinar and dong will run very close to each other, and then they'll decide. I think it'll be in different baskets, so like dinar, dong,
Yeah.
zim,
And
bolivar, baht, and
from
then
history, we thought. I mean, we remember we talked about this years ago. How the dong is going to be somewhere around 15% less than the dinar when the rate change occurs. So yeah, they're running neck and neck.
Well, it has to be because otherwise you have parity, and that's not a level playing field. So just
Right.
logically, common sense, how economics works, and what Trump said kind of gives you a tip off about that. Here's North
Right.
Vietnam. Their trade ministry urged businesses to let employees work from home to reduce fuel as supply disruptions and price spikes linked to the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran hit the country. Vietnam, heavily reliant on Middle East energy imports, has been among the hardest hit. Since late February, gasoline prices have risen 32%, diesel 56%, and kerosene 80%. I think this is really fear porn about a cyber attack the banks will use as the distraction while they bring in said reset, which heavily affects. They probably don't want the public to know they're switching the system in the banks while they, bring up the reset front and center.
Well, they're going to blame it on oil to the war that's
Right.
going on in Iran, use the oil and stuff like that, and say, "Oh, you can't even go to work." And then the next step is going to be layoffs.
Exactly.
They're going to start laying people off.
Yeah, just like they're doing here in America.
Everyone's government, everyone's government is over. It's bloated. It is. It's bloated.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need 10,000 people to run the government.
No.
you,
Well, this
you
is a
need
function of
probably
the Sara Jasara, right?
Right. No, that's what it is. It's reducing the government. The governments of everywhere from the city, your local city government, all the way up to the United States government. And this is going on worldwide.
Yep.
They're reducing the size of the government everywhere. So yeah, instead of, like I said, 10,000 people running a government, you probably have, I would say, 300 to 500 people to run a government. That should run two shifts. with temporary, employees or something like that. Uh,
Right.
to run a government, you probably need no more than 200 to 500 people. You probably don't even need that, to be honest with you. But you just don't want to overwork the people that you do have. But yeah, it probably don't take much to run the government, because if you look at the city, once you start reducing the size of your employee staff at the city, you don't need that many people to operate a city.
So that means you're slashing government by about 90% across the board.
Man, damn near 95% almost.
There
But
you
yeah,
go.
90%. Yeah. Yeah. 10%. Yeah, that's a good number to keep. Yeah.
90 to
Yeah.
90, somewhere. And then last
Right.
thing, real quick, Joe, we touched on this KRG official. No oil will flow through the Iraq Turkey pipeline unless Baghdad provides immediate dollar relief to Kurdistan. What's the best
Right.
way to do that? What's the best, most expedient way to do that, Joe?
It change the rates of your currency
Bingo.
evaluation, revaluation. So
Trump is
that's the
squeezing them
best
to
way
the
to do it.
middle.
Right.
Yep.
Because remember, we said it before. You can't do business with a bad rate. That's
Right.
basically it. Because who's going to
Right.
take uh, the dinar on paper is still not authorized yet. So who's going to accept something that you can't even use? I'm
Right.
like, why are you giving me dinar when on paper it's still not, the rate hasn't been revalued, hadn't been really reinstated rather. Your currency has yet to be reinstated. Why would you do that? And these people have been doing business, so that tells you that their currency has been reinstated. But it's still
Yeah.
other steps that need to take, to take place worldwide in this. So, but
Well,
let me go ahead. Let me set something
no,
up, because I
yeah.
want to show you something that you
Okay.
to backdoor what you brought up earlier.
Well, real quick, Joe, I can't stress this enough to the newer audience. People are getting it wrong. I mean, even some of the people on the team I've had to talk to about this who are more focused on the metal side. Um,
Right.
you cannot look at the current rate of the dinar and dong and think that's the real rate. It's not the
It's
real
not.
rate. The real rate is in the Ministry of Planning, the private sector, just like here in America, the private side. They're going to pull down the curtain at the very end, and you're going to see a completely opposite thing. So stop going by what
Right.
Forex or CBI says. It means absolutely nothing. All of this is behind the scenes, which has not been revealed yet. Go ahead.
But no, Forex and as well as the CBI, uh, yeah, it's the old cabal system. So I doubt if they even would use that, to be honest with you. But just to confirmation on something that you said earlier. Okay, are you able to see that?
Yes,
This
sir.
happened. This happened right after Trump said that the people in Cuba are suffering. Cuba is what up? Yeah, I knew that. Yeah. The people in Cuba are fed up. They're fed up, and there are actually uprisings going on in Cuba, but the media is not going to cover this. They're not going to show you what's really going on. And this is one of the politicians. That's their home that they're burning. Like, you know what? We're hungry out here. What you doing? What are you doing for us? They say, oh, you're not going to do that for us? Okay, if we can't have, you can't have. You see what they did?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we can't have, you can't have. And it's like, we want freedom. So I don't think that Trump is going to have to go to Cuba. I think the people are going to rise up enough to where the uh, the leaders are going to get taken out. So, and he hadn't even turned the car around yet to go to Cuba. So he's still in Iraq. And this is another thing I was going to bring up to you. Look at all the ships and everything that are in that region. Now, do you think they're there solely for Iraq, or are they there for that other spot, the place that Russia is in war with? I don't want to say the name
Mhm.
of the country that Russia is at war with right now. Really, it really
Right.
wasn't a war; it was military, intervention. I'm going to put it that way. But
Begins with a U and ends with an E.
yeah, exactly. I don't want to say the name because I don't want the word to kick in. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's I believe that they are cornering or surrounding several places because of all the ships that you have in that area. Because what we did, it's done. I believe that everything there is done in that's in Iraq. Everything that's going on in Iraq is done. Right now, they're just sweeping up the mess. That's what they're doing now. But go ahead, John. Go ahead. I'm just running
No,
my
you're
mouth.
fine. No, I was just thinking, going back to that picture with Cuba, real quick question, sort of rhetorical. Don't you sort of see that as being emblematic of what's going to happen in a lot of other countries, like
Yeah.
Iraq?
Yes.
The citizens,
Yeah.
they can't get
Worldwide.
oil, they can't get dinars, they're pissed, they go in the
Mhm.
streets, they start fighting. I think we're going to see this everywhere, rising up.
But yeah, look at what it's point. It's pointing to the politicians. It's letting you know that look, you the reason why you're living impoverished is because of them, not because you can't afford to do it. They are making it so you can't afford to do it. Why? Because they, like in Iran, they were taking the oil and selling it for the profit and keeping the profit. The profits wasn't going to the people because everyone in that region is supposed to get, a piece of the pie, but they're not. Like in what is that? Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, everyone gets a
Yep.
check every month because that's because the oil that's coming in there. and,
Revenues, yeah.
and it's not happening there in Iran. And they keep talking about that. Oh, we said we were going to talk about this. The school that
Oh
got
yeah,
hit.
yeah. Talk about that,
And now
please.
there's a guy on Instagram, really good guy. I can't. I would have to look him up. But he broke down the flight path of the missile. If it was actually a Patriot missile I mean a Tomahawk missile or whatever missile that was being used. Um, he said no, that's not America's missile, and then it didn't even come from the direction where the ships were. So,
Mhm.
and they said no, they blew up their school, and here's the crazy thing: there's several things that's happening about this war that I question. Like, say, for instance, you don't see any people running from missiles or bodies or anything like that. You show certain explosions. Some of them, the vehicle or buildings just explode. You don't see a missile. Some of them, you see a missile. The missile comes in. It seems like it's digitally added into it. It's a lot going on. That's why I think that several years ago, like I told you, this stuff has already been done. Everything that needs to be done has been done. This is an awakening process for the people who refuse to accept the fact that this stuff was happening and it was going to get worse if had it not been for Trump and this administration. But the
Yes.
school itself was not blown up by the United States. It was blown up, of
No.
course. You know, they use schools and hospitals as cover when they fire on the enemy, which is which is weak. It's very weak.
Well, it was a missile malfunction on there, and it came back down a couple 100 feet onto the school,
Yeah, no,
right?
that was the other one. That's
Oh,
the
the
other
other
one.
one.
No, that was a different one. Yeah, that was a
Okay.
different one. Now this other one is a different school that they're talking about,
Wow.
and no, it didn't come from them. And yeah, they shot that school. That or actually, I think they just blew up a building because I don't even think it was kids out there, to be honest with you. But you know how Iranians are. They would well, let's put it this way: the deep state and how they are. They would actually pull the bodies of the kids out there, put it on camera, showing these children's body being pulled out of the wreckage and the rubble and all of that. I have yet to see one like that because that is what the media does. The media would try to pull on the heartstrings, showing you these injured children and stuff like that. But not once have you seen one child get pulled out of the wreckage. You haven't seen it. No, they blew up the building and want to blame it on the United States. I actually can have that video somewhere in here. I'm gonna let you talk real quick, and
Yeah, I'm
I'll
going to
pull
share
it up.
something while you're looking that up real fast. You brought up the Kurds, or well, you brought up the Saudis and the oil revenue. I'm glad you brought that up because that goes back to the financial side. Because kind of everything sort of circulates anyway. But Trump said to the Kurds, "Oh, we don't." He said on a plane, I think was it this weekend? Somebody asked about the Kurds. He said we asked them, they were willing, but they're not participating. That's not true. The Kurds already are involved. They're just not
Right,
admitting it
right.
publicly, but the Kurds are definitely involved and we want them to be, because they alone could take out the Iranian proxies in Iraq all by themselves. They're the largest faction, 16-17% of the largest populous group of all the tribes are, as you know, the Kurds. So they have to be satisfied with the HCL Article 140 oil revenues you were just talking about with Saudi Arabia. Similarly, they have to be satisfied. So they got plenty of motivation here to finish this off. I really don't think there's anybody really running anything over in Iran. I think this is all just a dog and pony show until they say, okay, this is the prescribed date. We're going to tell the public, hey, this thing is finished. Does that make sense?
Right. Exactly. That's where I was headed, going with that. Let's see if this is the video here.
Off the pools are up in, and
this is the guy that
regime that's murdered.
I'm not going to play his video because it's about a 30-minute video.
Oh, okay. You're just playing the audio.
Yeah, I want to point out the way that the missile hit. Now they're going to have a bunch of school bags and all of that in the scene to get people.
استفاده جمهوری اسلامی از مهد کودک‌ها برای پنهان کردن.
We are different from each other. You closed down yesterday. Well, we are making it different.
See, he breaks it down really well. It's a long video, and
had to completely and totally button hook after flying over hundreds of miles of enemy terrain.
And see, this is what he was talking about, right?
Getting
pause it. Now, here's where the warships are. Here's where the building is, but the damage to the building is on this side of the building. So the missile would actually have to come in and take a hard right turn, in order to hit the building the way the building was damaged. But there's something else I want people to see. And I think this is the video. He actually breaks it down of, it doesn't really look like the actual missile.
Not 50, 40. That is a 10% difference from a Tomahawk. And it might look centered to you, but the problem is it's not. Next problem that we have with this particular munition, which I'm just going to use the one that got dropped to me because I think it's way better, is the angle of attack of the particular munition. Get this up here for you guys.
Okay, let me fast forward a little bit. And the rain is really coming down here. He broke it down there, and he told you exactly what the Tomahawks look like, and how I have like a little exhaust port right here on their missiles, their particular missiles. And if you look closely, that exhaust port is there. So it's not an American missile. But there's another angle of a missile hitting that I want people to see. And I'm not sure if it's on this video or what, but I believe it is. No, it isn't. Okay, because he did have another angle in which the missile was actually seen, and it wasn't a huge explosion. It was just more of a smaller explosion. But I thought it was there. But if you guys want, just look up Matt Tardio. Follow him on X. He breaks it down really, really, really well on when it comes to this video as far as that missile. And that's the one thing I was really looking up to see. I want to see if I can find the other video of him showing the actual missile itself hitting. I thought I saved it, but apparently I didn't.
Okay. That gives a good breakdown, though, so people can see the visual of actuality versus what, the fake news is prescribing and trying to sell the narrative to most people who don't really know, what's going on behind the scenes.
Right, right. And like say for instance, here's the school. They said 100 and how many? I think 160.
I think it's something like that. Yeah.
I think it's something like 160. They keep saying 160 children was killed. Look at this building. Does this building look like it even housed 160?
No.
It doesn't even look like it houses 160 kids in one location. That school, and it's not a real school. I'm sorry, that's not a real school. And no, that's not it. That's not the one. But there's a video of a missile actually hitting. This is the video of the here it is right here. Now see that's the actual missile hitting that quote unquote school. See,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
now look at the explosion on this. And every building that the Americans hit around there, we hit center mass and leveled the building. But this building, this right here, was see, this is it right here.
Hmm.
I'm
Doesn't
sorry,
look,
this the
doesn't look
evidence
right.
is not supporting the fact that this was an American missile striking
I'm,
that
mm-mm.
that target. It's not it. So I don't know what I'm explained up over here. And of course, he breaks down the missile and the location where it came from and all of that. So other than that, yeah, let me close that out. Here we are.
Well, thanks, Joe. That was great. Good information as always, and you never disappoint. We appreciate that. So, as we close up today, let everybody know where they can find your work, please. Anything else you'd like to share?
Well, first they can join me in a cup of coffee, drinking this right here. Look,
Good stuff.
what I tell you about this coffee right here, man? Sometimes I grab the bag just to sniff the coffee.
Yeah, it's good.
it's a little air vent on there. You can squeeze the bag and you can get a little aroma of it. No, really good coffee, man. Really good coffee. I'm glad you recommended that to me. And
Yeah.
oh, one more video to leave on a good note.
Okay.
The White House is notorious for trolling, and
Mhm.
Trump put
Yeah.
this thing out.
Winning fight. Taking control.
Now, one thing about it, remember I was saying, I see no heat signature from people, from bodies. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Like, yeah, that's a drone there. This is a drone.
Oh, yeah.
No one's around it. No bodies are around it. Of course, that's one of the ships that he sunk.
Well, you know who has a lot of drones too, Joe? Not many people are talking about Saudi Arabia. They've
So
closed
yeah,
off.
Saudi Arabia, also Israel. Israel has, man, they have a lot.
Yeah.
Israel's loaded down with drones. So,
Well,
but no, I just thought that was nice, and that beat was nasty.
so they're trolling them to show what? How much
Yeah,
control we actually have?
Taking control.
This is on the White House website.
Wow.
Yeah, this is on the White House website. And they dropping stuff like this. I was like, oh, they're not playing.
They're getting down to the nitty gritty of the reveal for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. The reveal is coming out. These people, they're not playing.
Tell people how they can find your work, good sir.
Oh, condition based on YouTube, and I'll start broadcasting. My goal Monday. I'll start back broadcasting Monday. I'm almost done redoing this room, and I still have a couple more things to do in here, but other than that, it's pretty much all finished.
Nice.
Not sure if you guys can see, like my other computer that's there, everything's there, and my wall I just finished over here.
Nice.
So yeah, it's almost there. I still have a few more things I need to do. I have to get another camera. I'm not a fan of this one, but it's actually a pretty good camera. Back up.
It gets the job done, brother. Well, we'll make sure
yeah.
we leave those links in the description of the video below so people can find you as always. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
don't get me
condition
wrong.
based on everything on Instagram, Twitter. It's
okay.
condition based. Right, condition based on
Okay,
all.
so if they just type that, they'll find you basically.
Right, they should find me. Yes.
Cool. Well, don't get me wrong. I really like the Pet Club coffee and all their products. They're great. I enjoy it. This is
man.
just a really nice coffee. In contrast to that, it's just like the
Right.
Rolls Royce. It really is.
And be on the lookout for this. This is another book we have coming out real soon. There it is.
Vexing and Visalia.
Vidalia.
Excuse me, Vidalia.
Like the onion, Vidalia. Vexing and Vidalia. Also, I didn't bring my book. Man, I don't have the book here. Blindsided is the book on Amazon. Blind, BLIND, Sighted, SIGHTED. Blindsided on Instagram is still there, still being sold. We're proud of it. We were doing some good sales for a little while. We were. Book here. I like to show the cover because people don't exactly know. That when they look it up, I want to make sure they get the right one because the title itself is common. It's common, so.
And they can find that on Amazon, right?
Right.
Okay, so Blindsided. Make sure we get that up for them as well. We'll get all those links as we typically do in the description of the video below. And folks, I also got some interesting news from the currency company that sponsors the channel that I was telling you about, Joe, offline. Let's see, the Soberanos and the Digitales are going to be highly valuable, but the Fuertes, apparently the banks are not going to honor anymore as of this time. So that was a question that was asked to us for quite a while about as far as the Bolivar. We just wanted to get some clarification and give that to you folks so that you would know if you have it.
Recommend doing that. Yeah. Remember, we're not financial advisors, no.
Right.
But like I said, do your homework. Look up Noble Gold, one of them, one of the companies that if you have a 401k, because 401k is a highway robbery. It have any other retirement because right now I have an appointment set. John, I still do have an appointment set because they were screwing me around about sending me the balance and all of that. They don't want me to switch it over. That's what they don't want me to do. But I'm in the process of doing that as well. But here's the book on Amazon. It's still, like I said, it's going to be there. If you have a Kindle, you can use it there. It's one of our man, this one right here, it took a minute to write this one because it started off as a screenplay. It was a movie screenplay, which we won Hollywood screenplay competition, 3rd place in that one, and we converted it into a book.
Nice.
So other than that, yeah, it's a labor of love, and it's still there, still available. If you have Kindle, it's on the Kindle device as well.
Nice. Well, we'll get that out as well. And of course, like Joe said, currencies or metals, we have some really good sponsors and channel for that. If you're interested, we'll leave those links as well in the description. Joe Williams, thanks for joining us, brother, on the podcast. Appreciate all the breakdown and insight. We'll look forward to having you on again very shortly.
JD, just give me a call later on today, man, because we need to talk about a couple of pickups. New England has signed today. Well, actually, yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I want to talk about that. And you saw what happened to Max. The Ravens dropped. Yeah, the Ravens dropped that
Failed
trade.
that physical.
Yeah.
Part
But
of
you
the
know
script.
what? I thought it was funny. Yeah, you know what? Because the Dallas doctor, the one who works with the Dallas Cowboys, he was there as well. So I wonder if I don't know. I don't want to say Dallas will end up with him, but he failed his physical, so he had. But they knew that before they invited him over there. But they probably wised up. It's like, you know what? We're going to give away 2 first-round picks for Max, and it's like, no, we changed our mind. We're not going to do 2 first-round picks for damaged goods. But anyway, yeah, just give me a call later on, man. We talk about that.
All right, bro. Talk to you later.
All right, take it easy, man.